Welcome to another weekly vlog. For those of you that don't know, I'm currently a second year medic studying at the University of Oxford and I'm at Christ College. So I've just arrived back for year 2 and I thought I'd take you around with me to show you what a typical week 1 looks like for me. So we finally made it to the first day of term here at Oxford. I've got lectures later today at 12, but for now I do need to get some shopping done, so I'm heading to Tesco's. And here I am making my way to Tesco. This is actually one that's slightly further out because the one closer to me didn't have bagels. And as you might know, bagels and cream cheese are a huge staple for me. Every lunch I have it and it never fails. Once I came back though, I just looked through some future lectures and, had to get pumped up for the new term. And since this first day was not that busy, before I knew it, it was dinner, so I headed straight to college to grab some food. A lot of people do ask, how's the food at Christchurch? And I will say that the dining hall is probably the best part of the dining experience, and although the food isn't that bad, it just doesn't live up to the standard of the hall itself. But otherwise, it is quite cheap and affordable, and if you think of it as canteen food, it's definitely not anything to complain about. I'm just happy to be catered, to be honest. And every meal is a 3-course meal usually, so today was pizza, potato wedges and carrot cake, so no complaints. Once I got back, I just wanted to do some research about what I could be doing in year 3 of the medicine course. So we basically have to pick an FHS project, which could be pretty much on anything. And it's on us to start emailing research groups and things like that. So I thought I want to start early so I can actually do something that I enjoy. I'm leaning towards the neuroscience route, but let me know what you guys would pick if you had the choice. And to treat myself for completing the first day of term, I ended up at G&D's, so that's the local dessert shop which does really good ice cream, and I went for Oreo ice cream.
Hello. Oreo?
The next morning I just cycled into the MSTC, so that's the medical building, and I had 2 lectures and a practical on that day. There were no more introductions on this day, so we were going straight into some content. For the preclinical years, there are 2 lecture halls that are used. So the one I was heading into today was the Sherrington building, and this one is less modern and I'm not really a fan of it because it's just the tables are too small, it's wooden benches, it's really not ideal, but most of them happen in the other one anyway. So in year 2 we were starting the module of immunology, so we were starting with some bacteriology and infectious diseases. And then we had a practical immediately after on gram staining. So not sure if you can tell, but this week has been not that busy in terms of tutorials. Usually I would expect to have 2 to 3 tutorials per week, I would say. And I was expecting that number to increase for year 2, but it seems like, I guess it's the beginning of the year, so not many tutors have got into contact with us, so not many tutorials. But today I do have an introduction with one of the tutors. I'm pretty sure it's not a full tutorial though. But otherwise, I literally only have 1 lecture today, so it's really weird, but I really don't feel busy this week, but I'm gonna make use of that, enjoy my time for the first week, but I think it will pick up later on. So it seems on Wednesdays, the medical school purposely leave afternoons free to do some sport, so I did have some football training to go to.
Show us how to get through the door, Sam.
Oh yeah, we've got the ultimate access.
Oh.
Christchurch members. As I was walking to the MSTC on this day, I then walked past the Radcam and saw that Just Stop Oil had stopped by, and this meant that students couldn't enter the Radcam through the main entrance, which was slightly annoying because I was planning to go to the Radcam in the evening, but luckily we do still have another entrance, so this is what I'm showing you here. So the old Bodleian Library is just next to the Radcam, and it's connected by this underground tunnel called the Gladstone Link. It really just looks like an airport tunnel, and it's not really used that often because there isn't much reason why you'd need to go between each library without leaving, but it's still quite a nice way to, procrastinate before doing a long library session. And I'm sure, just like everyone else who has their favourite spot in the library, my one happens to be the furthest from the entrance, so I have to go up a lot of stairs. But I guess it's alright when the stairs are this aesthetic. So it's now Friday, and today I just have one lecture and one practical, but today is also my friend's birthday, so I have some exciting things coming up this evening. But yeah, I'll get straight to the lecture.
But we've got essays, we've got one term though.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm trying to figure out, because we haven't had any. We did today was a pharmacology practical, but we were using a live model, which is why I wasn't allowed to record any of it. There was a whole group of us and we were just watching this demonstrator who was then injecting a ferret with different drugs, and then we measured blood pressure and the heart rate and just saw how the different drugs affected each of those. It's quite cool because apparently we were just replicating the experiments that Henry Dale was doing when he figured out how these drugs sort of work. So then it's quite useful getting to see things firsthand rather than reading it from a textbook and then just believing what they say. But now I'm back, so I think I'll just go through some lectures. I tried this technique towards the end of last year where I went over each lecture again and then just wrote a list of questions and answers just to summarize the lecture, and I did that on Notion rather than Anki because I feel like there's some things in lectures where I don't really want to memorize, but it's useful to just have that summary there just in case I need to go over it again for an essay or something like that. And then I find it more useful to add essay plans to Anki because I'd rather memorize that. But yeah, I'll get to that now. So it's now Saturday. I was very happy to see my package has arrived. So you might have guessed it, I did get some books in the package. I don't usually buy hard copy books, but the college sent me a voucher, so I thought, what would I want to have on my bookshelf? And I thought I might as well get 2 fiction and 2 non-fiction. So what I got for the 2 fiction books were Dune and Babel. I think I got Dune for obvious reasons. Classic, but also I love the movie. I haven't actually read it yet, so I think I'll read it after part 2 comes out because I don't want any spoilers for the movie. I know it's a bit of a crime watching the movie before the book, but it just has to be done. And then the other one was Babel. So this one I've heard good things about. It's, I don't know, trending for a while. It's also set in Oxford, so I've heard there's some good Oxford lingo in there. Should be good to read. And then the 2 non-fiction books I went for. I don't usually read non-fiction, but my logic was if it's a physical copy of a book, maybe I'm more likely to read it. So I thought maybe I'll get into non-fiction. So I've got Power and Prediction. So this one's about artificial intelligence. There's another highly rated one. I thought it was quite relevant, so we'll go for that. And then the other one is The Go-Giver, which is apparently not written as a standard non-fiction because I have a feeling I won't enjoy reading pure non-fiction, so I wanted to see what that was like. On this walk through the Christchurch meadows towards football training, I had completely forgotten, but it was matriculation for the freshers and it's tradition for them to go punting, so it was very fun to watch them fail at punting, and it did make me feel very nostalgic to think that was me last year. Next up, I was heading to the JCR with my friend. I'll be honest, I've been waiting for this event since moving into my room because I saw that I was given a painting hook on the wall. That is cute. That one matched the wall. What do you think? Oh, it's so light. What do we think? What's the painting I've gone for? Apparently it's New Zealand. Beautiful. Yep, so as you can see, I've now hung up the painting, so it's now in the back, and you should be able to see it in any future clips that I record in my room. I think it really does make the room look a bit nicer, especially considering that the view from my room is a brick wall. So at least I have something to look at every day that will give me some sort of joy. Yeah, the reason why I did get the painting is because there's this picture rental thing that we do at Christchurch where we get to borrow a painting from the art gallery for a year, and we just have to pay a deposit of £10 and then we'll get that back. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.